In this next tutorial, we're going to have a quick look at reviewing media and dragging and dropping clips onto the timeline to create a sequence. First of all, reviewing media itself. So I've got some clips here. To play through a clip initially, you go to the icon for the clip and you double click on it, and that will open the clip up in this window up here, which is known as the source monitor. I'm just going to make this window slightly bigger for a second. So the source monitor is all about playing and reviewing and marking sections of initially what are called master clips. So your master clips are these clips down here, the first instance of a clip in the project. The source monitor lets you play through the clip. It also lets you mark sections of the clip to use in your edit. So to play a clip, first of all, we have some transport control buttons here. So there is a play button in the middle. So I can click on that, will play and pause the media. We have a frame forward or frame backward button. So each time you click on those, it goes one frame forwards or one frame backwards through the clip. And we have a couple of buttons here, which we'll see in a minute, which lets you mark sections of the clips. You can also click in this area here, which is known as the scrub bar, and drag this little blue handle here through the clip. That's called scrubbing through the clip, and this little blue handle is known as the playhead. Or you can click anywhere in the scrub bar area and jump the playhead forwards or backwards through the clip. Using the transport control buttons here, if you want to mark a section of the clip, so rather than use the whole of the clip, just mark a section of it, you can move your playhead through to the section that you want to use. Click this button here, which marks an in-point marker in the clip, and that tells it where in the clip you want to use from. Move your playhead again to the end of the bit you want to use and hit the other marker button here, which marks an out point marker in the clip. And as you can see, I've got these two little bracket symbols now within the clip itself. And when I drop the clip down onto the timeline, and the way to do that is you click in the middle of the window here, hold your mouse down, drag down onto the timeline. Normally you'll always be using the V1 and A1 tracks when you do this initially. Drag the clip along to the left hand edge of the timeline and let go, and that puts that clip or that section of the clip on the timeline. If I just scrub through that, can you see it's just that little bit that I marked. The whole of the footage is still there though, however, so I can move back over the end of the clip, drag it out, move the clip along, move back over the start of the clip, drag that out, so I can get the whole of the footage back if I want to. So nothing here is set in stone. I'm just going to undo all of that. But what you're doing by marking this initial in and out point is you're making an initial edit decision as to this is the bit of the clip I want to use, and that is slightly quicker than dragging the whole clip down and then doing that job on the timeline. If for any reason you want to mark a new section of the clip, you can move your playhead again, and if you hit the in marker button again, it will update the in marker, or again move the playhead, hit the out marker button, update that, it will update the out marker. You can only have one in or out marker at a time in the clip, but you can mark multiple sections of a clip and then edit those different sections down onto the timeline in the way that I just shown you. These buttons here and here let you jump to the in point or jump to the out point of the clip. And one other useful thing to do is actually to add an additional button. If you want to play between the in and the out point of the clip, there is a button that will let you do that, but you have to add it to the transport control buttons here, and you do this by going to a thing called the button editor. So on the bottom right hand corner of the source monitor there's a little plus button. If you click on that, that opens up the button editor. This button here top right is the play into out button. You can drag any of these additional buttons down onto the button bar here. You can position them where you want. I'm going to put it next to my play button. Click OK. Now if I hit play, it just plays between the in and out point. Whereas if I do the normal play button, that would just ignore the in and out points and play the whole of the clip. There are also though some shortcuts for this process, and to be honest with you, you end up doing a lot of this, and using these buttons actually slows you down quite a bit, so it's worth knowing the keyboard shortcuts for this part of the job. So the first keyboard shortcut is the play shortcut, and you can do that by just hitting your spacebar. If you hit your spacebar once, it plays. hit it again, it pauses. So spacebar, play and pause. Let me just bring the playhead back slightly. If you want to go a frame at a time forwards or backwards through the clip, you tap your right or left arrow buttons on your keyboard. So the right arrow button jumps you 1 frame at a time forwards through the clip, the left one 1 frame at a time backwards through the clip. If you hold shift down on your keyboard at the same time, it does the same thing, but it does 5 frames at a time forwards or backwards through the clip. As you're playing or moving forwards and backwards through the clip itself, there is a time code here, and this shows you the frame that you're on. And this is measured in what's called SMPTE time code. So it has hours, minutes, seconds, and these units here, these are not hundreds and tens of seconds, these are frames. So if you keep an eye on this number, each time I go a frame forwards, you'll see that going up by 1 frame at a time, or down by 1 frame at a time if I go backwards. Because this is 25 frame a second footage, as that gets up to 24 frames, so 7 seconds and 24 frames, if I go 1 frame forwards now, it would go to 8 seconds and 0 frames, and then so on up to 8:24, and then it would go to 9 seconds and 0 frames. The other time code on the right hand side here, this is showing you the duration of your clip, or the duration between your in and out points. So if I reset my in and out points and make those further apart, by resetting the out point, you see that number goes up. If I get rid of the in and the out points by just doing a right click in the scrub bar area here and just choosing clear in and out, that then shows me the duration of the entire clip. And just going back to the shortcuts again, another couple of useful shortcuts. I can jump to the start or the end of the clip by using my up and down arrows on my keyboard. So the up arrow takes me back to the start of the clip, the down arrow takes me to the end of the clip. If I want to set in and out points in the clip, I can either play or scrub through the clip to where I want an in or an out. If you hit I for in on your keyboard, that sets an in point. If you move your playhead and then you hit O for out, that sets an out point. And again, you can reset those, so I'm hitting I again to reset the in point, O again to reset the out point. To jump to the in or the out point in this window, if you use those up and down arrows again, once you have in and out points in the clip, they jump you not only to the start or the end of the clip, they also jump you to the in or the out points as well. The final one to mention in terms of playing the clip is JKL. So I brought my playhead back to the start of the clip. If I hit L once, it plays forwards through the clip. If I hit it again, it doubles the speed, and again and again. Each time I tap it, it doubles the speed. If I hit K, it pauses the playback. If I hit J, it plays backwards. Normal speed, double speed, again, double it again, K pauses. So this gives you the ability to shuttle backwards and forwards through the clip just using the keyboard. And the other one that you can do with J, K and L is if you hold K down and then L together with K, it does a slow motion forwards through the clip, slow forwards. K and J together, slow backwards through the clip. Those play shortcuts, the spacebar, JKL, I and O for in and outs, the left and right arrows, work in all of the playback windows. So they also work on the timeline, and they also work in this window over here, which is the program window. I'm just going to double click on a new clip, mark an in, mark an out, and drag that one down onto the timeline. And then I'll just do one more just to show you the shortcuts for the timeline. As I drag the clips down onto the timeline, I've added one to the end of the others that were there, so I've created a little sequence of 3 clips. You have a timeline playhead which you can click in this area and scrub through the timeline with. So this is the scrub bar at the top of the timeline. There, just where these numbers and marks are on the timeline. I can use spacebar again, play through the clip, pause the clip. JKL, shuttle forwards, shuttle backwards. Left and right arrows go 1 frame at a time forwards, 1 frame at a time backwards. You might have noticed as I'm doing this, the video output for the timeline appears in this window, which is the program window. The one shortcut that's different on here is the up and down arrows. And the up and down arrows On the timeline, if you use them, jump you from clip to clip. So they jump you to the in frame or the start of each clip and then to the end of the sequence. That was the down arrow going forwards, or the back arrow goes backwards again. You also have in the program window the same transport control buttons here. A playhead, as you can see as I move that playhead, it's moving the one on the timeline. They're effectively the same thing. And again, all those shortcuts also work in the program window as well. Spacebar, left and right arrows, JKL, all work. So once you know these basic shortcuts, you can use them in any playback window. And definitely for things like playing and marking clips, it is worth using the keyboard shortcuts and getting into the habit of using the keyboard shortcuts. So it really does save a lot of time and is much less fiddly than clicking on these buttons all the time.